makes the number of aircraft purchased by ATCL to reach 15, while 8 airplanes having been purchased during the leadership of the government of the 6th phase. The government has accomplished all projects by allocating funds in the government budget and involving development partners to get more funds so that to build new projects in matter related with expansion and repair of various infrastructure in the transport sector. The purchase of these planes is the implementation of system parts plan for the year 2020 to 2025.
Aidha, kununuliwa kwa ndege hizi ni utekelezaji wa ilani ya Chama cha Mapinduzi ya mwaka 2020 hadi 2025.
On the other hand, the Minister of Transport, Professor Makame Mbarawa, and the Minister of Construction, Communications and Transport, Dr. Harid Salum Mohamed from Zanzibar, elaborate further how the government plans to improve the aviation sector in the country.
Aidha, ndege moja mpya ya aina ya -8Q400.
One new aircraft type -8Q400 has been purchased by the government and which is expected to arrive around the middle of 2025. The purchase of these airplanes will reach 8 new airplanes under the leadership of Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan.
Hivi karibuni natarajia kujenga ujenzi wa kiwanja cha ndege.
We expect to construct Pemba Airport by increasing the length of the landing runway from 1,500 meters to 2,500 meters, in parallel with building a new modern passenger terminal with international standards. Boeing B878-8 Dreamliner has the capacity to carry 262 passengers and makes the number of ATCL fleet reach 15.
President Samia Suluhu Hassan urges parents and guardians to maximize on improved early childhood education centers as they have a great contribution in developing young children mentally and morally before going to higher level of education. She made the call while inaugurating Tasani Early Learning Center located in Makunduchi, Unguja South region, insisting that young children should be brought up on the basis of good values and prepare them for higher education.
Lakini kituo hiki kinakwenda kuwalea watoto kimaadili.
This school will raise students with moral principles. They will be taught basic life skills such as how to eat, how to greet others, amongst other things, such that when students go to primary school, they will endure enough life skills. The student will be taught self-awareness skills as well. I urge you parents to bring your children to this school.
President Samia also continues to emphasize on the use of clean energy for cooking so as to avoid the effect of climate change caused by using wood and charcoal for cooking. Earlier, the Minister for Education and Practical Training of Zanzibar, Leila Mohamed Musa, emphasized that the revolutionary government of Zanzibar plans to build 35 early childhood learning centers in the islands, where every district will have one center. President of Zanzibar and Chairman of the Revolutionary Council, Dr. Hussein Ali Mwinyi, says one of the greatest achievements of the diplomatic cooperation between Zanzibar and India is the establishment of the Indian Institute of Technology Madras University in Zanzibar. Here are more details.
He made the remarks when he met and held talks with the Indian ambassador to Tanzania, Shri Bishwadip, insisting that the opening of IIT Madras University is an important step in the improvement of the education sector in Zanzibar, expecting to bring about major reforms on the field of modern technology.
This opportunity once again to convey our government's sincere appreciation to the government of India for the support that has been given to Tanzania over the years. We have a lot of collaboration and cooperation in different sectors, and I want to put this in a perspective of government-to-government support, but we also have a lot of private sector partnership between the two sides. So we are hoping to continue the good relations, and I want to convey Zanzibar's appreciation for the very big support that was given to us in the water schemes, which is a huge project that has almost been completed. We are hoping that this scheme will alleviate a very big problem of water supply in the town.
On the other hand, the ambassador of India to Tanzania assures President Mwinyi of continued support, especially on improving the business, economy, tourism, and investment sectors, vowing to bring prominent businessmen from India who are interested to invest in Tanzania.
I'd like to express my gratitude and thanks for your personal involvement to get the first IIT outside India in Zanzibar. So IIT Zanzibar, as I understand, because the local director is not here on vacation, I will be meeting her. But what I have had a video conference with her that it is doing satisfactorily as of now. Yeah. Obviously, it has to do much better.
Yes.
And that's the idea. Means your vision cannot be taken lightly. It has to be done bigger thing. And we want it to be developed as a multinational institute of prominence.
Yes.
Which is housed in Zanzibar.
Yes.
So the more students come, brighter students from different countries, in Africa primarily.
The historical diplomatic ties between Tanzania and India date back when India opened its embassy in Dar es Salaam in November 1962 and in 1974 opening a consulate in Zanzibar.
Minister of Finance Mwigulu Nchemba reassures the international community and Tanzanians that the government continues to set up and improve the investment environment, including improving its tax systems. Here are more details.
Nchemba made the assurance in Dar es Salaam when he met and held a meeting with the ongoing ambassador of Switzerland to Tanzania, Didier Chassot, who visited him to bid farewell after finishing his tenure of service in the country. He insisted President Samia Suluhu Hassan has formulated a team of experts to review and come up with a recommendation that will help to improve further tax system so as to attract more businesses and investments in the country.
Tukushukuru kwa hoja ambazo umezileta leo yakiwemo masuala ya kikodi.
We thank you for all significant issues that we have brought forward today, including tax issues, and also President Samia created a commission that helps in all tax collection issues, and the commission should continue to implement digital tax collection and continue to improve tax collection systems.
On the other hand, the ongoing ambassador of Switzerland, Didier Chassot, vows his country will prepare a new development cooperation plan with Tanzania, which will focus on the achieving the country's various development agendas through its various programs, including supporting community development funds, TASF, management of public funds, businesses and investments.
We noted, of course, the establishment of the commission on these issues by the president. This is also an important measure, an important step. But we believe that in parallel, in the meantime, we should also have that dialogue between the government and the relevant embassies and the private sector, so that we can see how best move forward in this. But again, thank you very much for your kind words. Thank you for the good cooperation over the years. Congratulations on all the progress that Tanzania made over the past few years. They are on the right track. We were discussing before you arrived briefly. Tanzania is definitely on the right track, we believe, but there are still obviously issues, challenges to be tackled. And as far as we are concerned, Switzerland, we are only Switzerland, a small country with limited capacities, but we are definitely intent on continuing our cooperation and continuing to support the efforts here in Tanzania, together with our partners in the government, the official institutions, and also the civil society and the private sector.
Didier Chassot has served as a Swiss ambassador in the country for a period of 4 years and has promised to continue to promote Tanzania when he returns to his home country.
The U.S. government, through its Agency for International Development, USAID, has today announced an investment of $8.3 million to several Tanzanian firms to boost trade, improve food security, and strengthen Tanzania's competitiveness in the export through the African Growth and Opportunity Act. In an event that was also attended by the Minister of Industry and Trade, Selemani Jaffo, and the USAID Tanzania Mission Director, Craig Hart, has confirmed 9 local firms which will receive grants under the USAID Africa Trade and Investment Project.
Shirika la USAID ambalo likitoka katika msaada wa nchi ya Marekani limekuwa likitekeleza mradi wake nchini Tanzania. The USAID organization from the United States has been implementing projects in Tanzania aimed at improving the economy, particularly focusing on Tanzanian companies. Recently, 9 companies were represented to showcase their product, highlighting efforts to help more Tanzanian companies gain opportunity to participate in international markets, especially through the African Trade and Investment Project. The Tanzanian Ministry of Industry and Trade is currently in a discussion with the USAID to explore ways to expand participation of Tanzanian companies in the United States market and globally as a part of the broader effort to boost the country economy.
We would expect these companies to grow that much more with the help of the government of Tanzania to provide the right business enabling environment, which means predictable taxes, which means working together with the government to understand what are the issues that need to get worked through, so that we have a private sector enabling environment that allows and invites private sector to invest not just once, but multiple times.
The financial support is expected to generate 2,000 jobs, drive $42.5 million, new exports, and boost country's role as a regional economic hub. On the other hand, some of the beneficiaries of the program have praised the program by being the game changer in the export business.
Together with USAID, they've managed to provide us with funding. Not only us, but also our beekeepers that we're working with. So they've been equipped with beehives and protective gears to ensure that they have a good quality product that is coming out of their beehives.
We are collecting organic waste from different markets across all of the place in Dar es Salaam, and we brought the organic waste at our facility, and we convert organic waste into compost, natural compost. Also, larvae, which will be used as a source of protein for chicken feed.
Tanzania is committed to the formulation of the National Action Plan, NAP, on business and human rights as a way to strengthen the implementation of the UN Guiding Principles on Business and Human Rights as endorsed by the United Nations Human Rights Council. The commitment has been given by Commission for Human Rights and Good Governance in Tanzania during Stakeholders Roundtable on Business and Human Rights organized by the Frederick Herbert Shifting Foundation in Dar es Salaam. Faida Ngaga reports.
In 2011, the United Nations Human Rights Council unanimously endorsed the UN Guiding Principles on Business and Human Rights, UNGPs. The UNGPs are the world's most authoritative normative framework guiding responsible business conduct and addressing human rights abuses in business operations and global supply chains. To strengthen the implementation of these principles, the development of National Action Plans, NAPs, on business and human rights has become crucial globally. Stakeholders from Tanzania and Germany gather at the Roundtable on Business and Human Rights organized by the Frederick Ebert Shipton Foundation in Dar es Salaam to ponder on this issue, while both Tanzania and Germany reaffirm their commitment to safeguarding these human rights.
In Tanzania, the Commission for Human Rights and Good Governance, SHRAG, right now is developing a national action plan on business and human rights. Just recently, in July of this year, FES hosted a workshop with members from SHRAG and union representatives from various unions in order to support the national process and facilitate the integration of workers' demands into the Tanzanian NAP. Today, we would like to exchange the different experiences from Germany and the European Union and the Tanzanian debates on the other side. Look at the implications and mechanisms of the legislations in place and discuss the challenges on the ground and see where further initiatives are needed.
We have unique results from each category of the thematic working group. And this report will be out soon because it will also bring back what we got from the assessment and to inform for NAPO priorities. The main key issue is to map clear stakeholders to map the engagement, to design very well consultations, and to bring the feedback timely. Resources also remain constant. It's always a problem. So you go stage by stage.
Globally active companies must assume global responsibility for the people who make, transport, and sell their products, or who are affected as residents by the business activities of these countries. So this is why we are doing what we are doing. What did we do? What did we decide in Parliament? The new Act on Corporate Due Diligence in Supply Chains. The first step was that the Federal Ministry of Labour and Social Affairs was able to push through this law in the last legislative period. But before this, we had an interesting process. And just as I learned that you are also thinking about a national action plan for Tanzania, we also started with a national action plan in Germany.
The obligation to respect human rights applies to the entire supply chain. Transnational organizations, trade unions, civil society organizations, and other stakeholders have a great responsibility to ensure human rights are protected in workplaces. Faiba Ngaga, TBC News.
The China International Press Communication Center, CIPCC, is hosting 94 journalists from 84 countries around the world to gain a unique insight into China through a media exchange program featuring cultural immersion and exchange of experience. Kanki Mogomolo is one of the participants and has prepared the following report, read by Faiba Ngaga.
In an opening ceremony earlier today, the director of China International Press Communication Center, Yu Lei, says the training is designed to bridge the gap between China and the international media.
African journalists to join the CIPCC program for the second half of the year. And the purpose, China and Africa are good friends since a long time ago. It is a very good tradition. So since 2014, we have already established the first press center, which is China-Africa Press Center. So now, China-Africa Press Center has already entered in its 10th year. And also, in the beginning of September, there will be a summit on FOCAC will be held here in Beijing. So the purpose is to invite our African journalists to come to China, to help them to know more and comprehensively China, because there are so few African media can set up a correspondent bureau here in China.
In a duration of 4 months, journalists will follow training through a media exchange program, including cultural immersion and an exchange of experiences, offering the opportunity for each journalist to share their professional experience, acquire new skills, and develop an in-depth understanding of China. Journalists will also cover different aspects of China's media, culture, opportunities for journalists, as well as attend lectures, workshops, and field trips to different parts of China.
Before we wind up our local news tonight, let us take a look at today's exchange rates according to the Bank of Tanzania, BOT. Don't miss TBC News every weekday to know all the latest in exchange rates. Time now for all the latest in international news. And here is international news as compiled and read by Lulwa Mohammed.
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in Egypt, where he has met and talked with the President of Egypt, Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, on the ceasefire deal in Gaza. Blinken says Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has agreed to an American bridging proposal for a ceasefire deal in Gaza. However, Hamas has expressed concern about Israel's proposal by claiming that this is not the first time that Israel has agreed to end the war but does not implement its statement in practice. Earlier on Monday, the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken met with the President of Israel and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. India's Supreme Court has set up a national task force of doctors to make recommendations on workplace safety following the rape and murder of a trainee medic at a state hospital that prompted nationwide protests. The court, which took up the case on its own, said on Tuesday that the doctors' panel was being established to frame guidelines for the safety and protection of medical workers across the country. India has been outraged by the 31-year-old trainee's assault and killing inside a state-run hospital in the eastern city of Kolkata, the crime again highlighting sexual violence against women in the country. Her bloodied and brutalized body was found on August 9. U.S. President Joe Biden has called on people to vote for Kamala Harris on the November's election, describing her as a person of integrity and capable of leading the nation. President Biden made the call during the first Democratic Party's national convention held in Chicago. Outside the convention, demonstrators rallied against the war in Gaza. And the main suspect in the murders of at least 42 women whose bodies were dumped in the Kware area of Embakasi, Collins Jumaisi, has escaped from Nairobi's Gigiri police station. According to a police report, the suspect escaped with 12 other Eritreans who had been detained at the station for illegal immigration. The suspect made headlines after confessing to killing at least 42 women and dumping their bodies in Kware from 2022 to 2024. The suspect later claimed that the police tortured him and forced him to confess to the murders.
That was international news. Sports news up next. In sports news, Benjamin Mkapa Stadium manager Milinde Mahona says early tour of the management of young Africans in stadium is vital as they prepare to host the CAF Champions League return leg match against Burundi champions. Vitalo O speaking to TBC News in Dar es Salaam. Mahona says for Benjamin Mkapa Stadium to host CAF Champions League matches brings new experiences as Tanzania gears up to host AFCON 2027.
Kwa mujibu wa ratiba ya CAF, mechi yao imeonyeshwa itachezwa uwanja wa Benjamin Mkapa.
According to CAF, Yanga will use Benjamin Mkapa Stadium, and they know our stadium is under construction. So we are just discussing about what can we plan to ensure good things before the match, and we believe on sports diplomas to open a new opportunity.
Young Africans need only draw to qualify for the first round of CAF Champions League after crushing out their rivals Vitalo O by 4-0 goals last weekend at Chamazi Complex Stadium. Tanzanian boxer Shazir Hija believes that he will defeat his opponent Ibada Jafari in a non-title fight to be held in Morogoro on October 26th. Hija adds that he will knock out his opponent before the third round because he has been training hard, preparing for the bout.
I am going to end the fight very early. I will spare him in the first and the second round, but he will not finish the third round. I will be controlling and knocking him out. I am giving my boxer 100% to win the bout. We believe that we will come back with the win.
The fight is prepared to promote Morogoro tourist attractions as well as the new standard gauge relays SGR train service. That is sports news, and now before we conclude the news bulletin for tonight, let us take a look at the weather update for the next 24 hours.
Good evening, dear viewers. I'm Desderi Moses from Tanzania Meteorological Authority, and this is 24 hours weather forecast starting at 9 p.m. tonight. Moderate wind is expected to flow at a speed of 30 kilometers per hour over Lake Victoria, Lake Tanganyika, together with Lake Nyasa. And for the entire coastal strip of Indian Ocean, wind is expected to flow at a speed of 40 kilometers per hour. Tanzania Meteorological Authority has issued an advisory of periods of strong winds reaching 40 kilometers per hour and large ocean waves reaching 2 meters over some areas along the coastal regions of Indian Ocean, the regions of Dar es Salaam, Tanga, Pwani, including Mafia ISOs, Lindi and Mtwara regions, together with Unguja and Pemba ISOs. People living in those areas are advised to take all necessary precautions. And tonight, persistence of dry condition and cool temperatures are expected, with the lowest minimum temperature is expected to be 9 degrees Celsius over Njombe region. And tomorrow, it is our expectation that dry condition is expected to persist over most part of our country, with the exception of Tanga, together with Unguja and Pemba ISOs, where light rain showers is expected over those areas. And now, let us have a look at the weather forecast for the next 4 days for some regions in our country. Sun periods and light rain is expected over Dar es Salaam, while for Dodoma region, sun periods is expected to persist over the 4 days that are coming, as well as in the Mbeya region. For the case of Mwanza region, you can see the lowest minimum temperature is expected to be 15 degrees Celsius. For Kilimanjaro region, sun period is also expected. This weather is also expected over Morogoro region, as well as for the Arusha region, sun period is expected over the entire period. From Tanzania Meteorological Authority, until next time, good night.
And that marks the end of the news bulletin for tonight. Do not miss our next bulletin in Kiswahili at 11 p.m. On behalf of the whole team, I am Chedi Mparanyanga. Have a lovely, lovely night.
TBC1, ukweli na uhakika.